But we call everyone friends. Where I'm friends with that guy, I'm friends with that guy. I haven't seen them since Bush was president, but I guess they're still my friend. I went to 7th grade with them. I haven't seen them in forever. Oh, but anytime it comes up in a conversation, we say, oh yeah, that is my friend. And we call people friends way too quickly. But here's the deal. Is that most people, they don't really feel like they have any friends. We're experiencing this right now in the middle of COVID-19 and the pandemic, the loneliness epidemic that is happening because we're at home, isolated and alone, and very few people actually feel as if they have any friends. And what's interesting to me is this. I meet couples all the time, and when they introduce their spouse, they'll say, oh, hey, here's my husband, or maybe they'll say, here's my wife, or some of y'all might say, yeah, it's the old ball and chain. Don't say that. Don't call them that, but very rarely do I meet a couple who says, this is my friend. But really, that's the way that the Bible expects marriage to be, because marriage is about friendship. If you go all the way back to the book of Genesis, the book of beginnings, where everything has its start, we notice that it really starts with a friendship. So there's one God in 3 persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. In Genesis 1:1, it says, in the beginning, God himself is a friend group. That God the Father is friends with God the Son is friends with God the Spirit is friends with God the Father and God the Son. There's mutual love, respect, adoration, communication, and affection within the Trinity because they're a friend group. And then out of God's love and friendship, God made us. And we were made in his image and likeness so that way we could mirror and reflect him. God made us for friendship, first friendship with him. And as Adam was walking with God in the garden, God made everything that there was in this world, and he said it is good. The plants, the stars, the trees, the moon, the platypus, all of it. He said it is very good. But there is one thing that God said is not good. It's not good for Adam to be what? Alone. And so God made a helper fit for him. So God, he saw that Adam had God above him and he had creation below him, but he had no one there beside him to be able to share and to do life with. Adam was lonely. Even paradise is a lonely place when you have no one to share it with. And so God caused Adam to go down into a deep sleep, and literally from his rib, from his side, he created woman. And he created Eve not only to be his wife, but also to be his friend. That's what we read in Genesis 2:10. It says this, and then the Lord caused Adam to go into a deep sleep, and from his side, he says this. He says, it's not good for man to be alone. I will make a helper fit for him. That Eve was actually made to be the helper for Adam. Now, I know when I say that, it's 2020 and people get triggered when I say that. You mean to tell me that women are made to be the helper? Oh, that's very denigrating and disrespectful for women. I bet you think that all women should just be barefoot naked in the kitchen making sandwiches. Actually, that's not what that word helper means. Actually, in the Hebrew, that word helper is ezer. Can we all say that? Ezer? Okay, go ahead and type that in the comments. E-Z-E-R. That's the word helper. And here's what the actual Hebrew word means. It means a companion. Quite literally, it really means a friend. That before Adam and Eve were married, God made them to be friends. And a little bit after that, God walks them down and Adam says, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. The first wedding happens. But before there was a wedding, guess what? Adam and Eve, they were ezers. They were companions. They were helpers. They were friends with each other. This is the reason why so many of us, we long for friendship because we were made for this friendship. And marriage is actually a result of a friendship. And actually, social sciences will agree with this. Last week, we looked at the 4 horsemen of divorce from the researcher John Gottman out of the Gottman Institute. And he did a massive survey of couples over about a 30-year period. And he can accurately predict divorce within 95% rates based on the 4 horsemen of divorce. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go listen to last week's sermon as the couple got in a fight, and you can learn about the 4 horsemen. But he did also say that the couples who make it, they have one thing in common. They responded that their friend was their spouse, their best friend, their nearest and dearest, their closest friend. In fact, 70% of the couples surveyed across America, when they asked them, what are you looking for in a spouse? 70% of the couples, men, women, rich, poor, young, old, black, white, everyone said the number one thing was this: They're looking for a friend, someone to share their life with, someone to do their life with. Even the world would say that marriages are better when the friendships get better.